So just quick introduction for Exclusive, you know, trusted by the same brands you guys trust and for your life and your family. But most of our clients are emerging. They're not these established brands. Yeah, amazing partners, always helpful. A lot of what we're going to bring up today somehow coincides with a partner. Um, a partner really took off for us with Google. We were the first Google partner ever. They built their whole program around what we created with them, and we're still the largest ad spend managers on the East Coast. We're top 1% performance in the country for Google Ads, but we're still the first, which is awesome. E-commerce's Agency of the Year this year. Klaviyo's top partner. If it's e-commerce based, we're partners. I'm Mick. I'm the VP of Marketing Sciences here at Exclusive. I joined the company 14 years ago, and I was brought on to change our business from a project-based business that we were at the time, we did design projects and SEO projects, to launching services. So I created our SEO service, Google Ads, conversion testing, email, Amazon, helped build out our strategy team. And after the team had grown from about 6 employees to 40, I moved on to just working with net new customers to try to figure out what's the right plan for you. And then we can execute. And we've gone from 40 to now well over 100 marketers, 100 data scientists, over 20 content writers, and roughly about 250, 270-ish number total of employees. It's been great. I'm also the host of the webinar series. So we'll dive right in. I broke this out into 5 different sections. First section, we all know Black Friday, Cyber Monday, pretty big days. Some of the other days don't get enough hype, and they're monopolized by those in the know. So let's talk about them. First of all, if you're one of our clients, you probably have gone through a quarterly business review with us, and part of the quarterly business review was talking about all the big promotional days that are coming up. Which ones do you want to promote for? Well, let's create a calendar together. This is actually from that quarterly business review planner that we have. There's a lot of days on here. So I want to unpack some of this a little bit. So first of all, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, still really great. When we look at last year, when Black Friday hits, when Cyber Monday hits, desktop conversion rates jump 50%, and mobile conversion rates jump 30%. Note that mobile already starts to transition up on Thanksgiving. People are not in front of their computers, but in their turkey slumbers, they're on their phones. Q4 is dominated by site-wide discounts, product discounts, coupon codes, free shipping by order value. It can go all the way down to gift wrapping if you want to, but the overall impact on sales is strongest when you start to coordinate discounts. And the craftier you get with how you try to educate your customers on discounts, the less effective it is. Keep it simple, market really well. Now, it should be noted, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, great conversion rate increases, but not increases in interest. Over the last 5 years, Black Friday and Cyber Monday have kind of lost their overall appeal. They're down 50%. Peak 4 years ago, down 50%, flat for 2 years in a row. Even online, even in the pandemic. Online searches for Black Friday and Cyber Monday are down. So while those are really important days, they're not as important as they used to be. So what is important? So several years ago, Thanksgiving Day sale, it's when Simon Malls and whatnot used to be open on Thanksgiving. And then they realized, it's really not fair to the employees. So for a short period of time, Thanksgiving Day sales were really hot, and then it flattened in. And after all the pandemic, it has started to increase again. Last year, Cyber Monday and Black Friday did $20 billion in sales online. Thanksgiving did $5 billion. That's pretty close. That's actually a really big day. The cool thing is that this was achieved same year over year, 5.1 billion, 5.1 billion, 2021, 2020. But in 2021, because people were eager to buy, the discount was average went from 34% down to 27%. So still as much revenue with more margin. Thanksgiving, good day for trigger happy buyers with less margin giveaway. It's pretty awesome. National Free Shipping Day. So National Free Shipping Day launched in 2008. There's like a coupon site that came up with it, and people started picking it up. 2010, it exceeded Black Friday sales. So it has a lot of potential. You'll notice that major online stores, they sign up for Free Shipping Day. There's like every single major store celebrates Free Shipping Day. Niche stores rarely understand, smaller stores rarely understand how much they need to push this, but they do. And today the standard is you waive your minimums for this. At least waive minimums for as much as you possibly can. But it's a free-for-all. It's a big grab. You need to make sure your margins and calculations are prepared for this. But Free Shipping Day can be as big or historically bigger than Black Friday. Now, speaking of bigger than Black Friday, Super Saturday. Super Saturday has only gotten stronger in the past few years. In 2019, Super Saturday beat Black Friday by 10%. In retail in general, right? It's mostly for brick and mortar. The last Saturday before Christmas. And it pulls in 35 billion. But you'll note that one by one, the e-com players are starting to copy this and try to pull away from the brick and mortar side. So if you've never done a Super Saturday sale before, just know people are in long lines. They are dealing with the stuffiness of the brick and mortar space. They don't have reviews between products in front of them. They're frustrated by not having that e-com methodology available to them in brick and mortar, and they're going to start pulling back to e-com. And on that day where they expect sales, they expect it from you too. Hanukkah. Ever heard of it? 6 million people celebrate it in the US. Not enough people promote Hanukkah sales. The great thing is, year after year after year, more people realize we've got a pretty diverse country here. Why not have Hanukkah sales? And it's only getting stronger. Good time to get focused on this. This year, we expect most of the sales to happen on the 18th or the day after. Historically, it's been Hanukkah's first day, and the second day, you get peak sales. But a lot of smart retailers are waking up. Finally, last ship day. Last ship day is something you probably calculate already. This year it's going to be December 19th for a priority mail service, kind of the standard that people work towards. It hasn't caught on as a name. People don't search for, hey, last ship day sales and things like that. They use it to basically plan, but this is a day that you want to kind of look outward towards. You want to train your customers that we're getting really close. You have this in your cart. You've been browsing a lot of products. Buy, or else. I really like what Anthropologie does, which is right at the top of their email, every single day, a countdown timer to the last shipping day. Okay, get on to the next section. By the way, was that helpful? Anyone there that people have not seen before? Curious. Great. Awesome. Great. New info. Didn't know about some of those days. Fantastic. Yeah, honestly, over the years, I've kind of like paid attention some years and not other years. Our strategists do a great job of paying attention, but my interest has peaked and waned. And looking at the data again this year in preparation for this webinar, pretty excited by how bad that is. Because you don't want to be clamoring for a saturated space when the cost per clicks are too high and there's too many options. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I mean, are you going to get the sale or not? And how much are you going to give away? But just, it's nested around vacuums. It's amazing. So optimizing your email for opens, clicks, and conversions. Email is a big tool for the holidays. You know, you think about these things all year long, but just to make sure you got it right before you start to fire things off, the filters get really smart. People get really smart. Spam complaints just nonstop. So most of this kind of focuses on three things. One, list cleansing. Then there's textual tips. So like what content you could actually use and what would actually trigger spam filters. And then your templates basically creating a situation where you're not going to be allowed in the inbox, or not only do people not respond, they actually start to click spam. So first, let's talk about list hygiene. Email programs are pro-segmentation. I think marketers are in general pro-segmentation. They like the idea of knowing the 2 or 3 segments that you have and having a slightly different modality, product mix, value proposition mix for each of those segments. That's the core of marketing. So it's no surprise that when you break all of your customers into their segments and speak to them better through marketing, that they respond better. MailChimp had a great report. They said accounts that were segmented are seeing 14% more opens and 100% more clicks, and also bounces, abuse reports, and unsubs go down. Really cannot be more straightforward. Patrick, you're hopping off at the 30 after. Yes, recording and PDF are coming out. Correct. Grab your active lists. Okay, so you're sending out to people, but sometimes you get these bounces. Hard bounces mean the email doesn't exist anymore. So you've got to keep considering how to remove those. If you have people that are totally inactive, consider removing them as well, even if they exist. But for the people who are less active, maybe send to them less often. These things create better inbox rates because the response of who's actually receiving your emails is tracked more positively. When you have signups or your cart field, if your fields are not like fixed formatted, people might type in their name multiple different ways, or their phone number in different ways, or their address in different ways. And it causes just like one field to be off, and you start to get multiple entries for the same person. So merging those together is a big thing. And finally, you want to use basically tools and logic to get rid of spam traps and typos. So spam traps specifically are when people are, when you go out and you scrape websites, or you buy a list that could have been potentially scraped, they might have spam traps embedded in them that the service providers put out there they can find people who are using these nefarious tactics. Okay. So for text, from what you put in your subject as well as your body, there are a lot of filters created by their spam filters, and then there are things that people just don't respond to. What I focused on here was specifically what spam filters look for. So all caps, lots of exclamation or question marks. There's a whole list of spam triggers that I'll cover on the next slide. They're just keywords that automatically create some kind of trigger. And then addressing people not with their name, but like my friend or dear. Spell check, the basic rules that you would use for SEO apply for email. A lot of those algorithms have kind of been worked into email. So just like for Panda, you wouldn't allow any grammatical errors or misspellings to go in your content. Same thing for email. And just like for helpful content update on the SEO side, you want to keep less content in there. If you ramble, you end up getting more spam complaints. It's not that spam filters themselves look for this, but people are more willing to say spam, actual manual spam complaints. And then personalize. The Campaign Monitor did a research on this and found that 74% of marketers see a 20% increase in revenue when they personalize. Dear, and then real name, or putting name in the subject line, or having personalized content like, here are the products you looked at. Okay, spam triggers. You want to get clever with how you write your subjects and your content. The reason that any email specialist will tell you to be creative and clever is not just to get mind share, but it's because there are built-in traps out there. So the filters are looking for the overuse of the term buy, clearance, or order. Not your order, but order now. Greetings that don't actually have a name, like dear, XYZ at Gmail, or saying friend, or opening with just hello and not the name of the person. Actions. Because of spammier email people, click here, click below, call, cancel anytime, see for yourself, are all likely to trigger some kind of spam filters. And then I know this kind of sucks, but guarantee free, great offer, get it now, limited time. If you're saying something that a used car salesperson would say, you're getting into a little bit of trouble. Okay, templates, your actual template. So you don't want to have too many images, oddly enough. You want to keep things clean. And so not lots of images. Even cutting up an image too much could be a problem. And you don't want to use too many large images. Don't replicate your entire top navigation at the top and have too many links. Too many links, too many destinations will hurt both your inbox and your response. Don't use Video Flash or JavaScript. They don't always render. Do not embed forms. They don't always render. And then just because it looks cute on your email app when you send it out, if you use funky font, red font, invisible font, which is white on background, those will all likely get spam complaints. Do have a very clear unsubs button. Try to stay within 600 to 800 pixels max. Use a grid-based system so that everything kind of loads and then fills in. Use cross-platform fonts like Arial. And make sure that if you have any hit areas, they're at least 46 by 46. Awesome. So wanted to show you some campaigns that have been launched over the last few years from a series of e-com businesses and just things that seem to work really well in Q4. Now keep in mind why certain things work and certain things don't. You get this impulse in Q4 to just do promotions, and promotions have to be done in a different way for every business, but not just for every business, for every segment of a business. So if you have 2 or 3 segments, you may want to treat your customers slightly different. Figuring out what that treatment is foundationally the biggest question in consumer behavior. I have this segment. How do I speak to my segment? And consumer behavior says, well, there's 4 ways. You tell me which one you're supposed to use. These are called modalities. The first way to speak to customers is, I will never waver from my my brand guidelines. I will stay image heavy and less text, and I will stay aspirational. That's competitive. Even if you get a promotion, you don't waver from that. Social is, we understand the impact of this on your life and other people, or we know this is a hard learning curve challenge, so let us help you figure things out. Spontaneous is what everyone wishes their business was in Q4. Like, here's a sale. We've trained you on buying from our sales. Go for it. That's spontaneous. A methodical is, well, do you want to have the perfect scarf for the man who likes to dress like a librarian? And now you've got basically some kind of methodology. Or you're bringing up electronics and you need to be specific about data points. All these 4 modalities have to somehow be squeezed into a promotional calendar. So I bring that up just to help add a little context to why these are good ideas. So keeping an email or a promotion themed. Here we see Marks and Spencer's did a Get Netted. And they kind of said, okay, if you're into this, here's how you break it down for each person, kind of guiding them on the social impact for if you're going to buy this for your kids or for couples and things like that. MeUndies also kind of broke down a theme for them. It was me time, and they wanted to introduce every one of their personas. They said, me time for couch potato, fun family, for the boss, etc. But if you know MeUndies, you want to choose something different for your boss than you do for your family and different for couples. So it's a interesting way for them to speak to all their different personas and kind of break this down. Being single-minded. So what Wendell August did here was just focus on one clear promotion. They didn't want it to be too much of a giveaway. They don't like to give away too much, so you have to buy 3 to get 1. That's how competitive modalities do promotions. And the digital gift card one, which is just learning about the digital gift card, that's a very social persona approach, where you're basically saying, let me teach you why this is a good idea. It is a thoughtful gift. It is a beautiful gift. It requires no thinking, even though it's thoughtful. Focusing on timing. So Lark, what they did was they focused on teaching the basically their deadlines, and right before the last day of sales for what was this one for? This is a function of beauty. Sorry, I didn't get my text right on this one. In my QA I missed that. But for function of beauty, they focused on what the social impact is going to be between you and your friends if you miss giving them a gift. It's a clever way of doing things. And they did that on the last ship day. With Citizenry, they focused on building momentum just like Anthropologie. For Anthropologie did it for last ship day. Citizenry built up momentum and excitement around one particular day, which was December 26th. That would be the biggest shopping day of the year. Big sale day. Ann Taylor wanted to bring their Let It Snow event to life. So they thought they could be playful with it, and it's gone in a flurry. But it draws attention to the call to action. This is one of the higher performing campaigns that they sent last year. And finally, it's smart to start thinking about wrapping up 22. Yeah, Movement did it in the past. They did a huge end of the year sale, knowing that their customers like to buy for themselves, and they gave a nice incentive to make it worth their while. Taylor Stitch did not waver from their competitive modality. They focused on basically giving back and preserving their brand image, and just a tiny bit in there, they said year-end sale. So it's a sale, but it's a sale that's masked as kind of something to be proud of. Okay. Got a few more sections to cover here. Many of you have seen cost per clicks and cost per acquisitions, cost per sale increase throughout 22, partly because people can buy brick and mortar now. People are online less after the pandemic, so you basically have less ad space to sell, so the clicks are more expensive. When they come to the website, those people could go shop brick and mortar, so conversions are lower. There's the pressure of are we or are we not in a recession? So people are spending less. But on top of all that, there's been a lot of transitions of platforms. The platforms themselves made a lot of changes, and not everyone stayed on top of the changes. So part of the reason people are paying more for clicks and more for acquisitions is because they didn't transition correctly. So I want to focus on a few things that we see people doing wrong, or essentially ways to triage your cost per acquisition. The first is switching from Google Smart Shopping to Google Performance Max. Why does Performance Max perform better or give you a better return or lower cost per acquisition? What Performance Max does that Smart Shopping did not do is, like Smart Shopping, it finds people with a lot of intent in shopping. Someone is searching for something, your product shows up. It captures them at that moment. But then it does something else. It basically follows and nurtures that person until they buy. When that person now goes to YouTube and there's an opportunity for your ads to show up there for pennies, Google spends on those ads, or Gmail, or anywhere else. If they can buy you some visibility within the purchase window for pennies, they will. So yes, the first click is expensive, but all the other clicks to nurture are pennies. Because all those nurturing events take more clickers all the way to purchase, it ends up taking that a lot of money in shopping and getting it to be spent on a lot more conversions. Cost per acquisition come down. So how do you make sure that you take advantage of PMax plus get the best out of it? For starters, swap in your holiday assets. If you want to, you could also just create separate holiday PMax campaigns, entirely yours. create logic within your feeds. So create a feed label for products that are in season. You should manage that every season anyways, but for this season, make sure you mark your products. And then encourage Google to spend more on those. So the products that are mapped to label 0, which is seasonal, yes, those should be in their own PMAX campaign and spend more on it. So PMAX also will hit your ROAS goals, but you can feed more people into PMAX if you complement it with video action, discovery, and display. Because PMAX tries to only find people who have already shown shopping intent, you can get people before that brought in through these other bigger reach. So when you combine them, on average, you see a 13% increase in sales, but no difference in efficiency. And then obviously swap out your performing assets. Otherwise, they're in the mix for PMAX. Take them out, then your PMAX return will go up. And then if you have someone regularly looking at the audience signals, if you have a PMAX campaign and a lot of the sales are coming from one audience, split that out, spend more on it. That has to constantly happen to bring down your costs. With the transition towards dynamic search ads, so text ads that are created dynamically, we've noticed that most of the accounts that we've taken over from other agencies, when we audit text ads now, let's say 60 to 80%, up to 100 in some cases, are average to poor quality score. Quality score means that you're targeting this keyword, but either the ad or the landing page are not using that keyword correctly. You want good or excellent. Why do you want good or excellent? When you have a quality score that is good or excellent, simply put, Google charges you less for those clicks. The exact same ad, you get charged a discount if your quality score is good or excellent. So we created this really nifty insights report. We have over 100 insights reports we populate for clients and for our team. This is mainly for our team. So in this report, we bring in data from Web Console, SEMrush rankings, Google Analytics, and Google Ads. And there are a lot of things we can do on this one report, like what keywords am I ranking for so well that I don't need to pay for it anymore? That's done in this report. But also, what keywords are my cost per clicks too high on that I now need to optimize for because I'm not actually optimized for it? So what needs more SEO because I'm paying too much for Google Ads? You can do this for yourself by looking at quality scores and then starting to look at the pages and optimizing them. This just simplifies the process. Okay. After iOS 14 came out, it's been about 18 plus months. A lot of people are still spending too much on Meta. Not everyone's spending too much on Meta. Most people pull back from Meta, Facebook and Instagram. But some advertisers still invest as much, if not more, into Meta. And the thinking of that group is, well, I know attribution's not being cleanly brought through, so I have to invest with a little bit of good faith. But if things are working, shouldn't I increase the frequency of my ad exposure? If my 2% lookalike audience is working, shouldn't I increase that to 10? And that's where you start to get into trouble. So put straightforward, Meta has algorithms that learn how to qualify or disqualify people looking at your ad. And that function of qualifying or disqualifying can break if you do something wrong. If your ad exposure for your ads is like a 20x frequency, that means everyone looking at your ads is on average looking at your ads 20 times. You're not just paying for all those 20 instances. You actually broke Meta. They don't know with that high of a frequency how to figure out who's qualified and who's not. You want to stay within like a 5 to 8x range, and that's when the learning engine is really doing its best. Well, what if you want to spend more? Spend more by having more segmentation. Spend more by spending on TikTok and Google Discovery and Amazon awareness. You cannot overuse Meta. Another reason that people are overusing Meta, again, they love the lookalike audience. So they got up to 1%, 2%, 3%, and they went 5%, 10%. Okay, once again, now you're basically telling Meta, I don't care. Show it to anyone. And that's the way that they interpret it. They stop qualifying. You want to bring that down to about 5% or less. The last thing that we keep seeing that is causing people to misspend in Meta is, let's say you have a cold audience, but your cold audience includes past visitors, or your past visitors list includes people who abandoned carts in the last 24 hours, plus people who viewed your website in the last 180 days. By having such great performers and not great performers all brought together, the great performers are tricking Meta to think that the non-great performers are also worth investing that much in. They can't separate the two because you told them not to. You have to keep your lists separated by the expected performance. Okay. Other places where you might be overspending. Amazon. Amazon's going to kill it in Q4. So how do you make sure you spend less? Well, if you have products in automated campaigns, meaning you put IDs together in an ad, and you let that ad target keywords, what you're going to get in your report is how each keyword performed against that entire ad, but not down to the SKU level. So if you find a keyword that works well and you convert it to a manual campaign where you start to target that keyword, you must target that keyword for all those products. Question mark, which product was actually working with that keyword? The only way you can figure that out is if all your keywords are targeting one product per ad. Then you know the keyword to product performance, and you can convert it into exact targets. It's the only way for you to figure out what to spend on and what not to spend on. These are called OPA campaigns, one product per ad. It's the only way to do it. Another way to reduce costs on Amazon is to use a technology. We have become big fans of PackView. PackView helps us manage our accounts on Amazon and Walmart at the same time, but it also uses Helium 10 to find keywords to bid lower on, so it just brings down costs. It automatically adjusts bids up and down by performance, so it brings down costs. It's the only way to do day parting. What is day parting? Let's say you put a $500 budget per day in Amazon. If Amazon can spend your $500 by 5 a.m., it will shut off your ad at 5 a.m. The only way to know what time your shoppers are buying and spend more during that time, like you would with Google Ads, is to use PackView. We love it. It's great. Great for increasing performance. Another way to get better performance or lower cost per acquisition on Amazon. So in general, Amazon video ads perform better than any other ad type, better than your sponsored products, better than your branded ad at the top. But if you put your video out there and you didn't do a good job prepping the video, then it's not going to perform. So if you want the lowest cost per acquisition tool to perform like the lowest cost per acquisition tool it's supposed to be, then follow these 4 rules. Basically, study your audience. If you're talking to the wrong audience, you'll know. And you can read your reviews to get a better sense of who your audience is. Make sure you show your product. Keep it 15 to 30 seconds tops. Do not try to tell everything about your product, even though you didn't pay for it until you get the click. You want to show them everything. Don't. Stay focused on digestible points. And then make sure that you don't need to actually have the audio on, because people don't keep audio on when they're on Amazon. So have a text overlay. Last thing on Amazon that I'll point out is that you want as many organic sales as possible on Amazon. With Amazon, when you look at Amazon ads, you look at the ACoS, advertising cost of sale. Most people should be transitioned off ACoS and looking at TACoS instead, total advertising cost of sale. That means I've got advertising budget, I've got my total sales. My total sales include ad sales and organic sales. Why should you do it that way? Because when you optimize for a keyword in Amazon and you pay for that keyword and you make a sale for that keyword, then your paid ad proves to Amazon you are worthy for your organic ranking. And when Google sorts their rankings, it is just who's making the most sales amongst people typing in that keyword. And those total sales, called sales velocity, are a combination of sales you made from the organic position and from your ad. In other words, ad sales count towards your organic rankings. On top of that, when the Amazon algorithm went from A9 to A10, they now said, we will give you even higher free rankings in Amazon if you bring us sales. Google said, we can help. In Google Ads, you can now promote your product on Google Ads, where you click through and you go to Amazon. So your ASIN on Amazon, you have a paid search ad for that product. If you can get sales from Google Ads into Amazon, not only will Google track it for you through their beta, but you will rank higher. Who cares? Well, if you rank higher before cost per click surge in Q4, if you're the first to target gift keywords before anyone else, you're going to pay less. You're going to make more sales. Your TACoS is going to be the lowest of the competitive set. And why worry about Amazon? Because yes, Amazon's in the mix. We've been tracking clients' visibility and share of voice, and Amazon is just gobbling up space in Google Shopping. They're trying to squeeze their way back in after they pulled back in the pandemic, which makes things trickier, doesn't it? Everything's trickier. Amazon's in. How does your Amazon sales impact your Google? How does your Google impact your Amazon? If you focus on Meta, iOS 14 makes it hard to track sales. So how can you track all this? That quagmire has been ironed out by new technology. So over the last several quarters, we've introduced all of our clients to media mix modeling, a technology that we've been building for years. Media mix modeling takes at least 1 year's worth of data from Google Ads, Meta, and Amazon and finds all the correlations. Hey, when you spend more on Meta, your Google Ads sales go up. When you spend more on Google Shopping, your Meta conversion rate goes up a little. Okay. Once the media mix model figures out how Meta impacts Amazon and Google, each of them together. It then says, we've found statistical validity for our model. Ask us a question. And here's some questions to think about. So it might say something like, we believe you can increase Meta by 4.45x. Go ahead and run that. So we asked the media mix model, what would happen if we increase the ad spend by 445%? And it recalculates what the ad spend total would be and the revenue for your business over the next 12 months. That's a media mix model. It's magic and it's science. Really helpful. And it figures out seasonal variance and outliers and everything, all built in, and tells you how statistically valid the results are. Okay, fifth thing is you might want to launch some new channels in Q4, but you might not know exactly which channels to launch. So quick guide on that. So we've simplified how we approach things. We basically started to look at things from a channel agnostic or cross-channel approach and said channels must fit and feed a particular framework. We want to know what the drivers of the business are and how marketing is impacting those drivers. We broke this into 5 drivers. People finding out about your business, that drives their business. People who are searching for your category and you show up in Google, that drives your business, that's consideration. People who clicked on your website but have not bought yet, advertising to that group, that's conversion activity, that drives your business. Past visitors, trying to get them to buy again. Past customers trying to buy again. Past customers asking them for likes, shares, and reviews, that's advocacy. And not only do all these 5 drivers independently yield some return, they always impact the next part of the flywheel, and they get you spending faster and faster, more diverse, more healthy. What we've done is we said any ad on Amazon, Meta, TikTok, Google, whatever, that is trying to build awareness, cold awareness, tag it as awareness. Same thing for consideration, conversion, loyalty, and advocacy, because we want to periodically look at how much we're spending on each of these drivers and what the return on ad spend is. We call this the virtuous activity cycle. These activities build your business and they virtuously build you stronger. This is our framework for all our clients. And it took a lot of discipline. If we're marketing cold audience, it's awareness. Customers in search intent or non-branded search consideration. Past visitors or brand searchers, conversion. Past customers, loyalty. But this wasn't good enough. We knew that we couldn't tell everyone just increase their awareness or just increase your consideration. The recommendation of how much to push each of these drivers was going to be different from one business to the next. We found our point of bifurcation was how brand sensitive are your customers. So if when a customer knows your brand name, if they are magically acting different, converting at least twice as high as before they knew your name, then they're brand sensitive. In buying from your category, they are brand sensitive. That's a brand-based journey. Think about it. If they're brand sensitive, we should build brand. If they don't care about the brand, maybe we just need to show up in search. And it creates this polarity. So how do you know what your customer journey is? Because it's going to determine what you invest in and what channels you invest in. So if your customers and you are very active in social, then you're probably brand-based. If you defend your branded search, like your name in Google Ads, you're probably brand-based. If there's a lot of aggressive fighting over non-branded keywords, you're probably search-based. And if you and your competitors have volatile brand search trends, sometimes really high, sometimes really low, you're probably brand-based. So what does that look like? Well, here's an example of a brand-based journey where the more people invest in their brand, the more people are searching for their brand. And it really goes up and down based on advertising spend. So a lot of people convinced to search for the brand is typically a brand-based journey. If you look at the organic keywords between you and your competitors, there will be minimal overlap and a lot of keywords that only you and your competitors target for yourselves because they're your branded keywords. Your paid search, text ads, very little overlap. But typically for shopping, there's more overlap. Shopping is really good for non-branded keywords in general. Once you've figured out, am I search-based or brand-based, then you ask yourself, do I want to grow fast or do I want to increase my efficiency? For a search-based journey, this is the most efficient allocation. Just a lot of in non-branded search and then a lot of past visitors until they buy. That's your focus. If you want to be efficient and conservative in a brand-based journey, you pretty much focus on a little bit of awareness, but mostly just getting your past visitors to a tipping point to buy and then dwelling with your past customers to get them to buy again. If you're in a search-based journey, but you want to grow faster than your competitors, much faster than anyone else, then you say, I'm actually going to invest in things that are less efficient, but give me a lot more volume. Then you start to invest in the things that your competitors never would. Same thing with brand. You do the things like a lot of Google Shopping that your competitors would say, that's a fool's journey. Why would I do that? It's not efficient. Now, I won't go over all this, but you'll get a PDF of this. If you're trying to increase your awareness, this is normal distribution, and this is aggressive. You'll get a sense of all this if you take the mapping on the first slide and look at which tactics to add in. These are consideration tactics across all channels: conversion, loyalty, and advocacy. And if you're still not sure whether a channel fits, here's a rubric. If you have over 2,000 keywords and less than 15% of them are on page 1, you should do SEO. If you're doing e-com or lead gen, Google Ads. If you're a female audience with a high income, Pinterest, a younger audience, TikTok, almost all e-com should be on Criteo display. Amazon ads if you sell on Amazon. Email blasts if you have over 10,000 email subscribers. But everyone should do workflows in SMS. And then consulting for conversion if you have less than $1 million, in sales online, testing if you have over 1 million. Now, knowing brand-based and search-based helps us quite a bit. An example of a Q4 last year for brand-based, they sell a food-related gift that people don't search for that category. They only know that the gift exists because of awareness campaigns. We focus on driving a lot more YouTube and max impression share. And we started early. By building awareness, it pushed people into conversion later. We increased Google ad spend by 126% year over year to $600,000 for the quarter, and increased revenue from Google ads by an equal amount, 124% to $3.5 million, just from Google ads. For a client that was starting to build Amazon, but is search-based, for targeting gifts for her, gifts for cooks, things like that. We started with display advertising and discovery, but we knew those people would start searching for the category, so we dramatically increased visibility. And if anyone searched for our brand, we didn't give away an inch. We were able to increase ad spend by over 1,000% to just $35,000 per quarter. Right, they were just getting in year over year. They were having a hard time getting Amazon to work. They were approaching it search-based, not brand-based, not search-based. So we focused on it that way. We increased revenue by 180,000 or to 180,000. So knowing your brand versus search is consequential in Q4. Just curious, if you had to think for yourself, which journey do you think fits your business? Do you think you're more search-based or brand-based? You guys are answering quick. All right. I'm going to keep this up for another 3, 2, 1. Great. So 59% of you think you're search-based, 29% think you're brand-based, 12% not sure. That's around what we typically see for our clients, more search-based, less brand-based. That's just typically how it is online. But that's great. So real quick, before you all hop off, just want to throw out an offer. Again, we're a little different from other agencies. We do specialize in our different services, and if you're working with us, only a specialist manages a service or a platform. And so we are able to give you so many tips at the service level, but we have a separate strategy team that coordinates all that, which is why we were able to talk about our segmentation, modalities, VAC, and our technology brings all that together. So our technology works because we bring in all the data from every single source out there, from Google Web Console to Amazon, Meta, your ESP, ranking data in one system, and we warehouse it. From there, we can organize the data. We can organize the data by awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty, and guide our clients through journey mapping. We can organize our advertisements by which segment everything is targeting, and even do ABC testing of different treatments for each of those segments. Our strategy hinges on a knowledge of consumer behavior and modalities. Our goal setting relies on better technology, like our customer lifetime value reports that update every 6 months or so to see if your customer lifetime value is increasing. Our media mix model helps you grow much faster by giving us insights into ad spend scenarios. So with that, I just want to see if anyone is interested in receiving a growth plan from us, where we would actually go through and study your business, go through the journey type mapping and figure out channel mix recommendations, come back with every channel recommendation necessary. We would take a first crack at segmentation and what kind of modalities and messaging we think would drive those segments to higher performance. We would show you a demo of our technology, give you your team structure, pricing, talk about meeting cadence, and is it too late for the holidays? Absolutely not. If anyone is interested in talking to us now, we will get you up and onboarded before the holidays peak so you can get better performance. So with that, I'll keep that out there as I just check if there's any questions. I know we covered a lot of different topics, so it's tough. Steve said our exclusive team is awesome. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you saying that. All right. So any questions? Guys, I know it's tough when we cover this much content. You don't know what to ask a question about. But anything to pique your interest or your curiosity, please feel free to ask a question. Happy to take it. And just give it a moment or so. And if not, I want to thank everyone for, oh, do we not have this already? If not, we mentioned a growth plan. But we're rolling out virtually the exact same thing for all clients. Their quarterly business review has been revamped, which goes through all these processes: purchase activity cycle, segmentation, customer lifetime value, feed optimization so we can focus on better margins, segmentation planning, holiday planning. So you'll go through that hopefully soon. I'll check for you. Elizabeth, you're saying, thank you, excellent presentation. Wish I could work with you. I'm a startup and was told I'm still too new. It's possible. If you fund yourself like a business that's been running for a couple of years, then there's nothing that can stop you. So maybe that's a different way of revisiting whether that was the right time. But thank you, folks, for spending time with me today. I really do hope this was helpful. And how much funding is needed? Elizabeth, can you just tell me who you spoke with, and I'll reach out to them and try to connect and figure out what next steps might be. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Steve. Thank you, folks. Because it really depends on what the business is. If you're search or brand based, for example, and where you sell, or if you can't reach out, if you can't remember, yeah, if you can reach back out, that's great. I'll try to find out as well. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. Happy Wednesday. I know everyone's gonna kill it now for the holidays. Wishing you all the best. Cheers, everyone.